Hello, hello, hello. Good evening.
Hello.
Welcome to Star Wars, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing this evening, Matthew?
I'm very well. How are you, Paddy? You okay?
Good. Cheers, folks. Noticed that we're a man down this evening. Andy's hoping to join us later. He's in the middle of a masterclass right now because, as a musical genius that we all know he is, he occasionally has to give masterclasses to people. So that's what he's doing right now. So he's hoping to join us in a little bit if he can. So
excellent stuff.
I'm sure that'll be jolly good. Right. So I am just making a little note here. Now then, Matthew, we're wide open tonight. Just to let everybody know as well, we're broadcasting in more places than we've ever broadcasted in the history of Club Star Wars. Not only are we broadcasting, we're not just broadcasting on Facebook. We're broadcasting on our Club Star Wars Facebook page, our Club Star Wars Facebook group, my personal Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. So we're going out to 6 locations. So if we have very few viewers tonight across all those locations, I don't know what else to do, guys. It's like I'm out of ideas for giving you locations by which you can consume our, sequel
That's
rants.
Right. Yes.
So there you go. So plenty of news tonight. We've got, well, not plenty, but there's enough to digest. We're going to be discussing McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi once again. There's a little bit of news regarding that.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of news, kind of recent interview with Daisy Ridley about what she got up to after Star Wars. Yes. So we'll get into that later. And there's some, I suspect we may have known a little bit about this already, but this is with regards to a deleted scene from Rogue One with Darth Vader. As we know, there were a few of those. We've discussed that before, but we'll be getting into that. And it's also the introduction of a brand new feature of yours, Matthew, if you want to sort of shed some light on that before we get into
it. Sure. So just a little feature we've come up with, just add a little bit more spice to the show. We're going to do character studies, basically. So every week we'll choose a character at random, and we'll give you an in-depth sort of background of that character, their backstory, their personalities, their powers, their traits, and behind the scenes, how they came about in the first place. So there you go.
Fantastic, good stuff. This is all part of our drive to kind of increase a bit of Star Wars positivity. Listen, because I know, like, hey, look, everyone knows that we love Star Wars. You guys out there, if you're watching this, I'm sure you love Star Wars.
Yeah.
But we have been in it's easy to get into a bit of a rut since certain events and certain controversial things of people.
The way you got to think
Star
about
Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars is like a salad, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay.
You take the bits you like, and you leave the bits you don't like.
Well, there you go.
That's how you got to look at it, isn't it? Really,
So much like Christmas dinner, like Sprouts. They're a fucking frisbee, right? Nobody wants them.
Oh, no, sequel trilogy, Sprouts. No.
You're doing it again.
Oh,
Stop it!
Can't help myself sometimes.
Yeah, so we're delving into characters, and not necessarily characters that you might know a lot about. So that should be cool. It'll help us spark a bit of interesting discussion. Right, okay, so we've got some comments here. Let's say hello to Chris Dawes. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Chris.
Welcome to the show. You'll be watching on Facebook, so I'm not sure which avenue of Facebook you're on, but welcome to the show. Brian is with us as usual. How you doing, mate?
Hey,
Good to see you. Right then. So, do you want to get into your character thing first and foremost, and then do the news? That way, we can just go bang in with a bit of positivity.
Certainly.
All right, cool. So this is a as we say, it's a new feature which I've actually renamed. I think we're going to call it Force Focus. You can see it's up on the screen there. We're going to call it Force Focus. We haven't got a sting for it at the moment, so we're going to start it with one of these to begin with.
Stass Allie was a tall, stern woman with indigo eyes, dark skin with green patches. Her head tapered to a point, and 8 pale, fleshy tendrils hung down her back. She was talented at lightsaber combat, and was one of the few survivors of the Battle of Geonosis. While her swordsmanship was impressive, her talent for force healing was more so. She passed down this skill to other Jedi, including Barriss Offee. She had a green-bladed lightsaber that she used during the Battle of Geonosis. She also wore tall travel boots, a utility belt, a light brown tunic with dark robes, and adorned her scalp with a headdress consisting of a web of thin chains and a brown fabric band which framed her face. Stass Allie was born on Tholoth prior to the Separatist crisis. She was found to be force sensitive and brought to the Jedi Temple on Coruscant to start her Jedi training. She was eventually granted the title of Jedi Master. She eventually became a member of the Circle of Jedi Healers and served as overseer of the Medical Corps. After the Jedi Council received word that Senator Padme Amidala, Jedi Anakin Skywalker, and Obi-Wan Kenobi had been captured by the leaders of the Confederacy of Independent Systems and the Geonosians, resulting in a sentence to death, Stass Allie was recruited to join Mace Windu's Jedi strike team that were sent to rescue them. Most of the Jedi were killed in the ensuing battle, though Allie managed to survive long enough for the new clone army to arrive, who had arrived to escort the remaining Jedi off the planet in several Republic gunships. She and Butler Swan, who she had been fighting back to back with, boarded the same gunship and were brought to the desert plain where the battle had spread to. The two shared a nod before they both charged forward to continue fighting the Separatist droid army. In 19 BBY, Stass Allie was granted a seat on the Jedi High Council. Allie served on the council until the end of the war, present in hologram when Anakin Skywalker was admitted to the Jedi Council, and when Obi-Wan Kenobi was sent to Utapau. Near the end of the Clone Wars, Allie was sent to the desolate planet of Salukami, located in the Outer Rim, in order to battle Separatist forces. She was accompanied by the 91st Mobile Reconnaissance Corps, which was also commanded by the clone commander Neo, who was present at the time. Unknown to Allie or any of the other Jedi, the clones had been programmed with inhibitor chips, which forced them to comply with the execution of Order 66, which meant the extermination of all the Jedi across the galaxy. As the order was played on their comlink, Allie, along with Neo and another clone trooper, were patrolling the bleak and barren landscape of a war-torn planet on the Bark speeders in a mop-up operation. She was completely caught off guard as Neo and his wingman fell back behind her and fired upon her speeder repeatedly without hesitation. She was killed instantly, as the speeder exploded and was blasted to pieces. The creation of the character of Stass Allie is in many ways a retcon that took place prior to the release of any Attack of the Clones products. The filmmaker intended to use the majority of the Jedi High Council members in the film's cinematic Battle of Geonosis. However, because most of the film was shot in Australia instead of England, local model Lily Nyamwasi replaced Jim Clark, who portrayed Adi Gallia in Star Wars Episode I The Phantom Menace. She filmed all of her scenes wearing Adigalia's costume, but the filmmaker eventually realised that she looked too different from Clark's version of the character, so they created a character for the film who became known as Stass Allie. After the death of Adigalia in the Clone Wars in January 2013, the supervising director of the series, Dave Filoni, stated that the animated team had created a character of a model of Stass Allie, and that she was to appear in the show in a later season. This never happened, however, before the company was initially cancelled as a result of the Walt Disney Company's purchase of Lucasfilm. Well, that's it for this week's character review. Join us next time as we take a look at another character from a galaxy far, far away.
Oh, hang on. Oh, I'm back.
Whoa!
there was a screen that went on for a little bit longer than I expected there at the end, and I was just like, has this screen frozen, or is there just a little bit of black screen in there at the end? Oh, very, very good, very, very detailed. I've got to say, there was like a thing about time there, like you would go 205 BC or AD. What was their version of it?
Well, BBY is before the
BBY.
before the Battle of Yavin. Yeah,
Before the Battle of Yavin. Okay,
that's
cool. Yeah, I mean, it's the thing is with these. I always thought that in Phantom Menace as well. I think we've talked about it before, how there were lots and lots of background characters and undeveloped ideas of having younger versions of all these different characters that never materialized, because obviously, you've got to move forward with the story. You've got to create enough story around the main characters. But I always feel that it's kind of a shame that we don't get to learn a lot about all of those other Jedi characters in the background.
Yeah, a lot of those characters did end up showing up in the Clone Wars series. Even George Lucas's character. Do you remember in it was Attack of the Clones? There's a scene where George Lucas is dressed up as a background character with his daughter.
Oh, right. I don't think I was aware of that.
Yeah. So he's
painted, weirdly, that.
Yeah. He's painted blue and all this sort of stuff, and he's got this like very Star Warsy looking outfit on and all that, And in the Clone Wars animation, his background is told, his story is told. He's supposed to be the leader of a planet and all this sort of stuff. So yeah. So there's lots to delve into in coming episodes with these characters. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So coming back round to Stass Allie. So obviously, because due to constraints with the actress herself, they had to swap actresses. So Stass Allie was in episode 1. Is that right?
No, it was Adigalia. Adigalia was in episode 1.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah, and then episode 2, they had to use a different actress for that one character.
Right.
So essentially, because eventually they looked so different, one character became 2.
Right. Okay.
So Adigalia probably had a sister, or whatever.
Yeah.
A colleague who looks the same, same dress and same headgear.
It kind of makes sense because, like you say, the headdress and the headgear has got a bit of that's a bit of a recurring theme, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because
the Leku and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but it's also got a bit of a Soko vibe, hasn't it? It's not quite there, but
yeah, dangly fleshy bits coming off the back of their head.
yeah. That's the thing. But yeah, I mean, it does see. Obviously, that's kind of how the Clone Wars grew out of all these things, wasn't it? He probably realized, George Lucas, that he had such a wealth of characters, and they spent all this time creating these, you know, the costumes and the looks and the characters, but they kind of, you know, they weren't able to explore them really.
Yeah, yeah. And then
in a way. So the best way to do it is like expand it into another avenue, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah.
But
yeah, they did a good job.
You do wonder, you know, could we get something else out of the sort of prequel era, but as a live action thing?
Yeah,
I don't know.
So, Brian Young said George Lucas is in Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, my mistake. That's the
right.
one. Yeah, as a blue guy.
There you go. Yeah. Thanks for that, because that's kind of weird, because I'm usually really good with then there's such a body's cameo, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's Jeremy Bulloch, you know, there's Anthony Daniels, there's whoever, but I actually had no idea about that, because I mean, I know that him and Steven Spielberg like appear in the background in Temple of Doom, and you know, there's look, there's Dan Aykroyd in Temple of Doom, you know, things like that, but I was not aware of that one. Are you feverishly searching on the internet for a picture of it?
Yeah, I'm going to bring something up. Just give the tick and.
I think you may have found it there. Is this him?
That's him there. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, let me bring it up. Brilliant. Love the headdress.
There he is, and that's his daughter. Next to him.
All right.
Yeah.
We George.
So I'll have to do a force focus on George there as well at some point.
Do we know what? Are we aware of what his character's called?
Not off the top of my head, but I've got it in. A pile of books back here with all the information I need in it.
Yeah, this is it. You've been delving into the Star Wars diaries for all this stuff.
The archives. Yeah.
Into the archives, the Jedi archives. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think there's scope to do a Disney Plus of kind of prequel era, or do you think they've kind of muddied the water with Clone Wars already? Couldn't really go there.
I think the universe is that big. They can. There's so many stories they can tell from that era, and the clone, that sort of era is the prequel era is very popular still to this day. So yeah, they've got to go back there and do something. You know,
like I say, it's rich with characters,
worlds,
and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something actually that we discussed on Force Talk back in the day, and nobody seems to really be talking about it in terms of what Disney are going to do, or podcasts, and Disney have not mentioned anything about it. Is like a young Palps, you know, a young Palps series, a young Sheev.
Yeah. Well, I'm fairly sure that has come up behind the doors of Disney themselves. What's he called? The actor who played Doctor Who? Matt.
Oh yeah.
Matt Smith. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he was being lined up to play either a young clone of Palps, or I don't know. So
he wasn't lined up. He was on the cast list and everything, wasn't he? But
he
then
was cast, yeah. He was listed to a degree. Yeah.
Love to know what happened there.
Yeah. Well,
but let's not again.
You're flying the wall at Lucasfilm back then. You know.
Absolutely.
Even now.
Even now, we'd still like to be a fly on the wall at Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. So, well, guys out there watching, what would your suggestions be for a prequel era Disney Plus show? Would it be live action or another animated series, if you think that would work? Or just in general, what would you like to see a young Palpatine? series would you like to see? What would you like to see from Disney Plus? I know we've discussed in the previous, the first episode actually of this series about the films and the series that are going to be coming to Disney Plus. Did you feel like there was anything missing from that? Did you feel like what you want to see has not been represented yet and needs to be represented?
What would you like to see, Paddy? What would be your, if you off the top of your head, your TV series, Star Wars, Disney Plus, you're going to pitch something to John Favreau or Kathleen Kennedy? What would it be?
Well, I definitely wouldn't be ready for a. I definitely wouldn't be ready for a full pitch off the top of my head, but
No.
well, I'd certainly be well up for seeing a young Sheev show.
Yeah.
To find out, how he became Sheev, and also all the Plagueis stuff and getting into delving into all that and the Sith lore. I think there's a lot of unexplored Sith lore. There's a lot of unexplored Sith lore, and there's a lot of unexplored Jedi lore going back.
Yeah.
So aside from young Sheev, I think for me, I would want to see like all the way back, like EU, ancient Jedi history, how the Jedi started, how the Force was discovered, how they found out about the Force,
Force users,
all that kind of stuff. With
I think, sort of archaic sort of lightsabers. They're not even lightsabers at this stage. They're pretty much swords. Electrified swords or something,
The Jedis have just left the discos, with a glow stick, and they're like, what are you looking at, you? I'll use the Force on you. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So
I think they should. I think they should sort of remake or remake, copy, I suppose, all these early 1980s TV series like the A-Team and Knight Rider and Airwolf, but do it in a Star Wars. You can imagine Airwolf, but Star Wars.
Star Wolf. Yeah. Easy.
Boom. Done it. Royalties.
I could just imagine our pitch at Lucasfilm going in like this. Tell you what you want to do, man. You want to put like Airwolf, Star Wars together, man. Yeah, we could call it Star Wolf. The A-Team, you could call it like the Force
team. Theme music.
The Force Team, yeah.
The Force Team, yeah.
Sorry, what was it before the Battle of Yavin? BBY.
BBY, before the Battle of Yavin.
So in 1972, BBY, crack Jedi unit was sent to prison
for a crime they didn't commit.
By the Jedi Council for a crime they didn't commit.
They escaped from a high security prison.
I love it. So, what would your thing be? What would your what series would you like to see out of Disney Plus, and what era would you like to see explored?
Ultimately, if I was given full control, I'd be like, Luke Skywalker series. Let's do it. Let's do it right. That would be mine first of all.
So where are we looking? Where are we looking at though? Where is the Luke Skywalker series set?
I think probably just straight after the after Return of the Jedi, basically. What happens then?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm reading Heir of the Empire. I'm only 2 chapters in, but
right, yeah.
Like introduced to Luke Skywalker, and my goodness, the author got him right. The author got him right big time. Yeah. So I'd like to see that. I mean, they might already be planning on doing it, and I hope so. But do the Heir of the Empire. If you can't do it like accurately, at least try and do your best. I mean, the story's changed, obviously.
Yeah, sure.
under Disney, but I'm pretty sure they can like get the bare bones of it and try and do something with it. You know.
So would that be like Sebastian Stan playing Luke Skywalker, or somebody else, or would that be like Mark Hamill being brought in and de-aged, or would it be an animated thing?
I mean, the last episode of The Mandalorian proved they can sort of do it with the CGI sort of stuff, but
Yeah. And
YouTubers can do it better. So
fans can improve on it.
Yeah, hire some of these YouTubers who can actually do the face swap thing better, and we're on something.
Yeah, should be interesting. Well, like you say, folks who are watching, let us know out there what you might like to see from a possible Star Wars live action series or animated series. And we can discuss it tonight or in a future episode. In the meantime, I think we're going to take a little look at some Star Wars news, if you're up for that. Let's do a bit of that. Alrighty, Star Wars news. So where are we first? Let's have a look at this one, I think. So yeah, what Daisy Ridley did next. This is taken from that's the Deseret.com article. Yeah, have you brought that up? Lovely. Okay, I'm going to bring this on screen as we talk about it, folks, via the miracles of modern technology. Star Wars star Daisy Ridley shares what she did after The Rise of Skywalker finished filming. Daisy Ridley recently explained what happened after Rise of Skywalker ended. Excuse me. Why do they feel the need in these articles to repeat the same thing 3 times? This is the 3rd time I'm going to say it. Star Wars sequel trilogy star Daisy Ridley revealed in a new interview with People magazine what she did after The Rise of Skywalker finished filming. She cried. Okay. When we wrapped The Rise of Skywalker, I wept all day, she told People magazine. I felt like I was going to pop a vein because I was crying so much. Obviously, not to say that it was like grieving, but it was grieving something. I'll always have it, and we're all bonded by this incredible thing. The end of an era. Ridley seemed to realize it was the end of an era for her time in the Star Wars universe. She told IGN recently that the future of Star Wars likely doesn't include Rey. Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker. Oh, that's a related article. Sorry. I think for me, the beauty of Star Wars Episode 9 is it ends with such hope and such potential, Ridley told IGN. I feel like that was Rey's perfect ending. The big battle was in episodes 7, 8, and 9. I think really she's probably running around the forest somewhere having a great time following the events of Rise of Skywalker. I feel totally satisfied with how that story finished. Life after Star Wars. Ridley recently told Tatler magazine that she has tried to perfect her personal life now that Star Wars is over. What I do know is that when I signed on to Star Wars, there was nothing in my contract that said your life will be talked about, she told Tatler magazine. It got to the point where I realized so much of my life was out there. People knew my mum's name, my dad's name, what my sisters do for a living, and I thought it would be nice to have something that's for me that isn't for everybody else. I just thought I would keep that separate. However, as I wrote for Deseret News, she said she would never change her mind about playing Rey because it gave young girls everywhere a new hero to celebrate. There you go. I've got to say I'm quite surprised. I'm quite surprised that she felt satisfied with the ending.
Yeah, me too, really. But I've not nothing against Daisy Ridley herself. She seems like a lovely person, you know.
I thought she was great. I thought she was great in it, especially in the first one.
Yeah, I mean, she played the part she was given really well.
I don't think she wasn't as challenged quite as much certainly in the third episode. Challenged a little bit. She had some good scenes in the second film that shall not be named. So it doesn't get into a rant. But certainly in the first one, I thought she was terrific.
Yeah. No, she started off really well, and no, I'm happy for her if she feels that the wrapped up rather well, in her opinion. You know, it's not to everybody's taste, but there you go. It's yeah.
The
It would have
interesting,
been emotional. She did put all into it, didn't she? I mean, she's a good actress.
oh god, yeah, there was a hell of a lot of training involved in it. I mean, you look at how much,
physical training, all this
how
sort
much
of stuff. You
physical
know,
stuff they did.
it's
Yeah,
hard work. And you can understand to a point where actors, they're just people, really. They get pissed off when fans don't like what they've done, basically, or don't like the character they portrayed. But that's not their fault. It's not the actor's fault.
no, not at all. No.
You know.
And she seems to have done pretty well. I mean, she's been, she's worked with Branagh and she's been, and all that since. She's being cast in a lot of things. So,
it's one of my daughter's favorites.
Yeah, Luna loves that as well. But yeah, I'd be interested to see what she does next. Like, I'd be interested to see, because obviously, like I say, she has done other bits and pieces now, but not like the main focus again.
No,
which I think is
not that Star Wars curse, is it? You know,
I think it's probably a smart move after you've carried after you've been the main focus of like a Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
to be in some high what's the word I'm looking for? Some high focus, high profile movies and stuff, but not necessarily being the main star.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what she could do with something given the lead part again. That's not sci-fi or something else.
Yeah,
to see
a different genre altogether, which she's been doing. Murder on the Orient Express. That wasn't a bad movie. I didn't mind that.
Yeah, I've not seen that yet.
I mean, no, it's a good one. Yeah. Just keep away from sci-fi and fantasy. That's what I'd do if I was her. You want me typecast.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to say that she doesn't think that Ray will come back. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
There was. I'm sure there was a bit of talk. Maybe it wasn't it just after, or as kind of Rise of Skywalker was sort of flying high in the box office stakes, that they hinted that the fact that who knows, in 30 years we may see Rey, Finn, and Poe again, or something like that. Yeah,
basically copying what they've done with the sequel trilogy, leaving a massive amount of time, and then visiting what they'll be doing down there. They might do.
Yeah,
a lot of water has to go under that bridge before they get there. So it depends how the careers are going, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely.
And it depends where Star Wars is as a franchise in 30 years' time.
Depends if we're all still here.
Well, exactly.
Palps could have found the answer and destroyed us all by then. You never know. So,
well, you know who the big bad will be in 30 years' time.
You know who what?
You know who the big bad guy will be in 30 years' time. What?
George Soros.
Palpatine again.
Oh. Yeah, he'll be back. He
just doesn't stay down.
No, Trump will be back, surely. Oh, here we go. Brian's got some comments coming in. Daisy Ridley was in the first series of Matt Berry's Toast of London in 2012. In the final series in 2015, they have an unknown character who is cast as the lead in the fictional new Star Wars movie. Cool.
Yeah. I love the Toast of London. Have you seen the Toast of London?
Yeah, I love Matt Berry. He's a genius.
Yeah, fantastic. I
love it. Whenever we're kind of like, oh, let's just watch something a bit funny, we stick the It Crowd on, and he was just He was so good in that. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Darth Merengue's Dark Place. That's a.
Oh yeah, that's proper. That's proper weird, is that? But I love it all the same.
Yeah.
Right, so I think we should move on to the next piece of news.
All
Let's
right.
do that. We're whipping through them tonight. Alrighty, I've seen what you've pulled up there, Matthew. So I think we'll go with that one.
Okay,
Just let me do that and that and that. Okie dokie. This is taken from GamesRadar.com. Star Wars deleted scene teased in previously unseen Darth Vader Rogue One image. That looks like it could be Spen to me. That
I think that's
yeah, you can tell with the chest.
Yeah.
That's previous guest Spencer Wilding.
That's the image there.
Last Rogue One memory for today. Yeah, that him against that red screen is in the trailer. There's a shot in the trailer similar.
Yeah. The trailer had a lot of scenes that never materialized.
Oh! I tell you what. Do you know what's interesting about that? That guy stood off to the right.
Oh yeah.
Do we think that's the chap that you met? Richard Cunningham? Is it Richard?
Yes. Yeah, I don't think that's him. No.
Looks a bit like.
His character was on Scarif, and this looks like.
That's right. Sorry, he told me personally, didn't he, that he had more scenes with Ben Mendelsohn's character on Scarif that were cut. So yeah. Anyway, let's delve into exactly what the story is behind this. So it's an open secret by now that Star Wars Rogue One was heavily changed during its production. The movie that bridged the gap between the prequels and the original trilogy once included Darth Vader scenes away from that hallway massacre. And an ILM employee has shared a look at one such moment that ended up on the cutting room floor. How on earth did he get away with that? ILM animated director Hal Hickel. It's got to be a stage name, surely. Everyone's favorite. Has he been a Twitter weirdo?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, we'll get into that in a minute.
We won't go there.
No, let's get into it afterwards. Yeah, let's definitely get into it. ILM animation director Hal Hickel posted a shot of Vader away from Mustafar with an Imperial officer (brackets) or possibly someone else. More on that in a moment. Standing at a distance from the Sith Lord. The deleted scene may seem familiar. After all, a brief snippet was included in Rogue One trailers. See, I said this already in the lead up to the release. But it wasn't a scene planned just for trailers and sizzle reels. In a reply to a fan, Hickel said that this location also featured a conversation between Vader and Tarkin that ended up out of the film. God damn it, wouldn't we like to see that?
How can you take that out of the film? Honestly.
Was there a scene actually shot here, or just this shot for the trailer? Yes, there was a conversation between Vader and Tarkin that ended up out of the film. So we could be looking at a stand-in for CGI Moff Tarkin. Yeah, played by Guy Henry in the final film, but with Peter Cushing's face digitally inserted over the top at the corner of the image. Curiously, the two never interacted during Rogue One, despite sharing a frosty relationship in A New Hope. But this indicates plans were in place for them to do so. While it's unlikely that the Rogue One scenes cut from director Gareth Edwards' original version will never see the light of day, no, they probably won't, which sucks. The story of the movie's characters isn't over. A Cassian Andor prequel series starring Diego Luna is currently filming. Speaking to The Hollywood Reporter in December, Luna teased the project's scale. The way we're shooting this reminds me of how we shot the film, and the amount of work behind this TV series reminds me of the work you do for a film. It feels like we're doing a very long movie. Unlike Vader's talk with Tarkin, let's hope nothing gets left on the cutting room floor. Find out what's coming next in a galaxy far, far away with our guide to the upcoming Star Wars movies. We're not going to delve into that just yet. Okay, so before we go there,
bring this picture.
Sorry, what picture is that? Oh, the Vader picture. Well,
Yeah.
you're gonna do it close up. All right, let's do that. Yeah.
I don't think that's Tarkin there. That's
No, he looks a bit
definitely
too chubby.
squat, chubby,
Yeah.
and it's the wrong colour uniform.
I mean, when they say it could be a stand-in, I mean, if you're going to use a stand-in, they probably just, I don't know, it's doubtful they'd even be. Well, I suppose they would be wearing the clothes.
Yeah,
Could be a stand-in. Could be a placeholder. You never know.
Could be. Yeah. So for somebody for Vader to react to.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So, yeah, it's a shame we won't get to see those scenes.
It is.
But that's how the cookie crumbles.
Awesome.
Right. So before we move on to the next news article. So, Matthew, Hal, the aforementioned Hal Hickle, go.
Do I have to go there?
Yeah, come on. We'll just have one little rant.
Well, go on then.
One little rant section.
Hal Hickle's very opinionated and argumentative on the old twatter. Let's call it. He doesn't back down. Put it that way. Very. Oh, what's the word? Well, opinionated. I've said it. So yeah.
Yeah.
And he gets into arguments with Star Wars fans, so to speak, who probably don't see eye to eye with politically.
Okay.
Oh man, he's one of these. He's called people all sorts of names on the old Twitter sphere.
Right.
Fans of Star Wars, and it's not professional, in my opinion, for somebody who works for Lucasfilm to act like that online. I'm surprised there isn't a sort of a rule at Lucasfilm that stipulates don't go online and abuse the fans.
I know.
Don't go online and be
But we keep seeing it time and time again. It's a very strange thing.
I mean, he's very good at his job by the looks of it because he does the special effects for. He's in charge of the special effects for The Mandalorian.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, and fair play to him. He's doing a good job with the SFX there.
Yeah.
But get yourself off Twitter. Stop arguing. Don't get into them spats with people. It's not
so easy to get drawn in, isn't it? So easy to get drawn in. I think for the fans.
I mean, I'm guilty of it myself, but there again, I don't work for Lucasfilm.
No. Imagine if we did.
I probably would rein it in.
If both of us did, we'd have been dragged off Twitter. I was going to say we'd have been dragged off Parler as well, but the internet has already got rid of Parler. Because COVID or whatever the reason.
BS reasons, basically.
Censorship. Yeah, there seems to be a big, massive push on censorship at the moment.
There is. It's
weird.
Pretty weird. Pretty scary.
Yeah. I think we all saw that coming. But anyway, before we get into that, let's move on very swiftly. But yeah, so Hal Hickle, good at his job. Thanks for giving us the images. But yeah,
calm it down on the old social media.
Stop arguing with the fans.
Advice.
Stop it. Right, let's move along. Alrighty, what have we got next? I believe we've got some of this. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be Obi-Wan. Honestly, it's coming. Billy Connolly McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be. You know what I mean?
With a lightsaber new.
It's gonna go away over the lightsaber like that. Right, okay. I was living in a tenement building before I was a Jedi. Right, okay. So this is taken from Geek Tyrant. Ewan McGregor is more excited to play Obi-Wan Kenobi now than he was for the Star Wars prequels. I'm going to call bullshit on that. I mean, I know.
Well, yeah.
I know I've not read the article yet, but I'm going to call bullshit on this because, come on, in the 90s,
past experience suggests.
in the 90s when we not had Star Wars for a while, and he was like on set making the lightsaber noises with his own lightsaber and stuff.
Yeah.
I can't see he's being excited, but I'm excited to hear that he's excited. So let's have a look at this article. Here we go via the. Let's go on. Let's have a look at it. Let's have a look at his fine beard.
There you go.
I'm gonna do it.
That's a fine.
I'm gonna be Obi-Wan again. Oh yes, right. Ewan McGregor is excited to step into the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi again for the upcoming Disney Plus Star Wars series that's currently in development. In fact, he's more excited to play the character now than he was when he played him in the prequel trilogy. During a segment on Eddie Izzard's charity marathon stream, interesting, via Reddit, McGregor shared his enthusiasm about reprising his role as the Jedi Master, saying, it's just going to be great to play Obi-Wan again. I did my last one in 2003, and it was such a long time ago. The idea of doing it again is more exciting even than it was then. I think I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to get the chance to play him again. Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know what I mean? Sitting in the fire playing a banjo. It's going to be great. Making soup, you know what I mean? Dipping his scorn into the broth like a true Highland fuckwit. Do you know what I mean? So, I'm sorry, I just can't. I'm never going to be able to just try and do Ewan McGregor's
image of Obi-Wan heating his soup up with his lightsaber.
I could probably have a decent fist at doing a Ewan McGregor. Do you know what I mean? Because I have seen a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry.
Billy Connolly.
If you're watching this program, Ewan McGregor is Billy Connolly. Okay, it's kind of like when Eddie Izzard used to do, God as James Mason.
Yeah,
it's that kind of thing. Hang on, we've got a comment coming in. Very, very, very jock-phobic.
Jock-phobic.
Listen, it's not jock-phobic. Every Billy Connolly pistic sentence that I've said about all that stuff about dipping the scone in the broth, these are all direct Billy Connolly quotes. Trust me. I am not a Scots phobic. I'm a Celt myself. My name's Paddy O'Hare. We were Scottish kings before I was Irish, okay?
I am not.
So back down, you're one of my subjects, lad. Back down, you're
a lot of Scottish friends.
Yeah. Oh, don't stop. I've got Scottish friends. No, but seriously, the O'Hares were Scottish kings, so any Scots out there complaining about me?
I'm going to Scotland this summer. Fingers crossed, all going well, COVID wise. But yeah,
all COVID well. Oh, very good.
Going up to Scotland, going right to top of Scotland.
Anyway, but very nice. That'll be lovely. But as I'm saying,
I've been many times. I love it up there. Love it.
As I'm saying, my descendants were Scottish royalty, so you all were my subjects anyway. Okay, so
right, yeah.
So pipe down, and I'll chop your head off with a lightsaber. Okay. So to continue, McGregor also addressed how filmmaking technology has progressed since the prequels, saying, it'll be interesting to do. Probably not so much blue screen and green screen, which I always found quite tedious to spend week after week in a blue environment or a green environment. But this should certainly be more interesting for us. The Obi-Wan series will be shot using the same stagecraft technology that the filmmakers on The Mandalorian have utilized. The series will also see the return of Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader, and the project is set to start shooting very shortly, according to McGregor. We start making it late spring, and we're going to be shooting here in LA. It's so funny, every week there's a new report. We were meant to be making it in Boston, and we're not. We're shooting in LA. That doesn't sound very Star Wars, is it? Is it not going to hit England at all? That's kind of weird.
No,
anyway,
I thought it was Boston in England. That's what people were saying.
They thought it was going to be Boston, United States.
Yeah, Boston in the northeast of England. Why, man?
Boston. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, okay. So, Listen, let's move off the subject just quickly. So we've had Hot Wrestling 3 from Donkey Stone today. That's what we kicked off with. Yeah. And we're just moving on to a very fine Tesco's finest dipper, the Vocation and Sure Shot 15-mile round trip dipper, which is very, very good. Okay, so moving along. Deborah Chow, Better Call Saul, American Gods, The Mandalorian, will direct the series as well as serve as showrunner with Hossein Amini, Drive, and McMafia? All right, okay. And Jovi Harold, John Wick 3, Awake, King Arthur, Legend of the Sword Racing. There have also been some rumor details on the story that the series might tell, and that the story is said to primarily revolve around Darth Vader's hunt for his former master Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ooh, that'd be interesting. This is yet to be confirmed, but it would be a cool story to tell. Chow previously talked about working on the series, saying it's definitely going to be different. Just in terms of the sheer workload, obviously, of doing the whole thing. But in some ways, I'm going to miss having a team and having people who are there to bounce ideas off. But then, obviously, the flip side is it is nice to have a coherent voice and know what, and know what you're doing from beginning to end. Kathleen Kennedy will produce, hopefully a name only, alongside Jason D. McGatlin, Tracy Seward, and John Schwartz. I can't feel the Schwartz. I can't wait to see what story this series ends up telling.
There you go.
So there you go. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we've discussed this. Oh, hang on. Brian's Keep your new strain down there, lads. Don't worry, Brian. There's going to be a 27th strain. It's going to be like Star Wars. They're going to keep making the fucking strains until the cows come home. Telling you now.
The CSW strain.
The CSW strain. So yeah. What were we talking about? Yeah, Ewan McGregor. I'm sure we've also discussed this, but what do you want to see for it? I mean, obviously Vader. We've said we know that Hayden Christensen is coming back.
Yeah.
Now, well, I'll give you my thing, then you give us your thing, right?
Go on.
So for me, if they're bringing Hayden Christensen back, they're not bringing him back just to stick him in that outfit, are they?
I wouldn't have thought so. No, we're going to see his face, aren't we?
Because he looked crap in the outfit.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
For it, really. Yeah.
There wasn't enough of him. So I'd rather see, like, Nepraus or Spen in the costume.
Yeah.
And flashbacks or the helmet coming off for Hayden.
Yeah, definitely. See him in the back to tank or the I don't know what it's called. The thing that closes down on him and
his wee broken egg from Empire Strikes Back. That's
one, his little getaway.
I think it was a JCB.
Yeah.
I think it was a wee digger like that.
Yeah. And you see the helmet, like.
Yeah. For me, that would work. I think if they're going to kind of ramp up the excitement in any way, then that's the only thing they can do, isn't it? Is ramp up the Vader and Obi-Wan thing. So that's going to keep the tension throughout if Vader's always looking for him, and then there can be other plot lines going on at the same time, watching Luke from afar and all that kind of stuff.
So the whole series is
hang on a minute, hang on just before you do that.
Hello. Hey, lad.
Welcome to the show, and you just came just in time as we were discussing Darth Vader. So continue, Matt.
Yeah, the whole series is going to be about what? Vader searching the galaxy for Obi-Wan, and he never thought about going to Tatooine? You know, where is he? I'll just pick this random planet over it. No,
I don't like
Yes.
sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets
that's
everywhere.
probably why he avoided it like the plague. Yeah.
Aye. Yeah, what would you like to see? Is that the way you see it going? Like,
I don't know. That might be one aspect of it, and then there could be. I mean, I'm hoping they're going to take a few tips from the book Obi-Wan Kenobi, which was released in what? When did that book come out? 20. I think it was between 2010 2015 that book was released. A very good book. But Obi-Wan sort of flirting in a sort of relationship, you know, on Tatooine, helping out some locals, all this sort of thing. But I suppose, a bit of spoilers here, in that book, they do defeat a crate dragon, and we've already seen that. So, who knows?
Yeah. What about you, Andy? What do you want to see out of the Obi-Wan thing, and how would Vader be involved? And
I just want to see Kenobi watching Luke from afar, so that you keep saying "watching Luke from afar." That's all I want. I obviously want as much Vader as possible, but the problem with, I bring up what Dave Filoni said about Darth Vader in Rebels, and fans were like, "I want more Vader," and Gareth Edwards said this as well, that every time you put Vader on screen, that's all you want to see for the rest of the film. So that's why I think they decided to keep him back from.
Darth Vader's going to be like the shark from Jaws.
I think even more so than that, because with people, I think people want more Vader than the shark. But I know what you mean.
Yeah.
That's the thing, that's the genius of Jaws. While we're on that, a bit of Jaws, Spielberg with John Williams appreciation here. The shark's actually on screen for like, what is it, 4 minutes, if that. But in your memory, it's the whole film. But that's the score.
Yeah.
And I won't hum it for copyright reasons in case we get picked up.
I was going to say I was doing it in a different key, but I don't think I can do that.
No, yeah, it's got to be that. Usually in E minor.
Yes.
Not that anyone cares, and not that anybody asked. But
there it is anyway.
But so Gareth Edwards was saying, we don't want to put him in Rogue One too much because it's too iconic. And then Dave Filoni was saying about Rebels, every time you put him in there and none of your characters die, it diminishes the power of Vader and the threat of him.
Is it true? Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, Filoni gets it.
Yeah. No, he does get it.
They don't want to overdo Vader.
No.
Oh, we've got a comment coming in. Kurt Boyd says all of Star Wars is just massive Vader bait.
Well, do you know, that being said, somebody put on Twitter, when are you going to do, this was in 2015, after The Force Awakens came out, 2016, said, when are you doing Vader a Star Wars story? And they just sent, Lucasfilm put the link to this Blu-ray box set and said the Star Wars saga, the Vader story is available, episodes 1 to 6.
Yeah, well, basically, we've had
nothing but Vader. It's his story, isn't it, really?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
In the original trilogy, we thought, moving forward, it was Luke Skywalker, but it ends up being Anakin and Vader and Luke.
Yeah.
But what do I want to see in Kenobi? As much Vader as is possible, but not to the point where
you don't want to oversaturate Vader.
Yeah, just a little bit.
What we were saying just before you joined, Danny, was that obviously we want to see some Vader, but Hayden looked crap in the outfit in the prequels. I mean, I'm sure he's bulked out and stuff a bit since then, but it kind of didn't work. Like I would rather see Hayden in flashbacks, kind of without the outfit.
Get Spence in there in the suit.
Yeah, get Spencer or and the Prowse in the actual suit to do all the Vadery stuff. Although Hayden has proved that he's amazing with the lightsaber as well. I mean, just look at the duels in episode 3. Like we can't take that away from him.
Yeah,
no.
But as I say, for me, if they're bringing Hayden into it, it's not just to have Hayden in the Darth Vader outfit, is it?
Absolutely not. You
There's-
see his face.
Yeah,
I just wonder how they're going to handle that. How
It could be Clone Wars flashbacks footage that we've not seen before. Because Hayden still looks relatively young, and they both have aged so well that they might be able to get away with it and make us see that Revenge of the Sith era Anakin and Obi-Wan. Maybe flashback, I don't know. It could be some kind of Force vision as well. They could go down that route. Because Luke Skywalker has visions when he's on Dagobah, doesn't he? He sees Han and Leia being, I imagine, tortured. So they could actually start to show us, and that thing in the Force
They
Awakens.
could meet face to face as well at some point. I mean, Obi-Wan may well have left Tatooine for some reason. Don't know what, but I mean that line in Empire Strikes. We brought it up before in not Empire Strikes Back in
you
Hope, where he tails off at the end, doesn't he? He doesn't actually finish. Like Vader doesn't finish his sentence.
Oh, I said
presence I've not felt
since.
And we might know when that since is in this.
I mean, how happy are Lucasfilm that George never filled that line in?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, how would you finish that line off? What could we do?
Since Tatooine, which is exactly where this ship's just come from.
Yeah.
presence I've not felt since
that time
Obi-Wan was watching Luke from afar.
Well, hasn't Kathleen Kennedy sort of hinted that they're going to have a fight? That'll be the season finale, surely. They're going to fight, aren't they?
Well, yeah.
What did she say? She said
she called it a rematch of the century.
That's it. You're telling me they're not fighting?
There's going to be a fight. Yeah.
Some fans online were complaining about this, saying they shouldn't meet up and it ruins episode 4 and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, maybe it does. I don't know. Depends what they do, doesn't it?
It does depend what they do.
I'm sorry, but if Vader knows that Obi-Wan's on Tatooine in A New Hope, then the story's pretty much screwed.
Yeah, which is why I think Obi-Wan will have to leave the planet.
Yeah.
You know, he might have to go on a mission to help somebody else out, and then comes face to face with Vader in some situation. I don't know. But other things in the series, apart from Vader, you'll get to see Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, a young Luke Skywalker. You'll probably get to see why Owen doesn't like Obi-Wan. You know, he's just a crazy old man.
Yeah. There's that stuff in there.
Something's gone on there in the past, so probably.
They can fill all that out. And they're going to.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah.
So there was I was thinking something there, like if they're going in that direction, well, as if Kathleen Kennedy said about doing the rematch and all that kind of stuff, so we're going to see Vader and Obi-Wan fight again and all that. Now, if that's the case, yes, obviously it makes the perfect season finale. But if this is only going to be one series? Do we really think it's only going to be one series?
I think it is. I think
they've said that it's a one-off. That's it.
Yeah, limited series.
Because, like, for me, it's like, you know, you would want to spin a series out, and then like the season finale would be they meet up face to face, and then you don't see the fight until the start of season 2, and then that
they could go that route. But McGregor will be getting paid more per episode for this than he did for the whole prequel trilogy. I can tell you that much.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about it.
He said, like, the talking point is...
Is he getting Ford money? Is he getting Ford money?
No, but it's probably... Like I said, it's going to be more than he got for the whole prequel trilogy per episode of this show. Might only be 4 episodes, keeping it cheap.
Yeah, maybe.
Well,
I feel like it'd be 6.
More than 4, but yeah.
I I feel like 6 is a nice number. I feel like it'd be like 6.
6 1-hour episodes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Be good if it was an hour. They usually, if they say they're an hour, they end up being 50 minutes, don't they? With the
Yeah.
like some Mandalorian fluctuated between 30 and 50, didn't it?
They did, yeah.
Which is a smart move. I don't
Well, it's
feel
not.
like
It can do what they want, can't it? Because it's not televised.
It's not television. It's their property. Yeah, do what they want with it.
I don't feel like you have to spin out the yarn if it's if it's ready to be finished, then finish it rather than trying to stretch it out for.
I'm sure they try and aim for 30 minutes at least.
Mm.
You know,
I can imagine there's not much deleted scenes from The Mandalorian. I think every dollar goes up on screen.
Yeah, probably, yeah. So, I mean, I guess we'll see. I mean, we will see. But
when's it due to be released? The Obi-Wan? Is it end of this year or next year?
I don't know. Is he?
Anybody in chat?
He's still talking about it as if they've not started shooting. Now he's saying we're shooting it in LA. Does that mean they are shooting it in LA now, or does that mean we will be shooting it in LA?
Yeah, I don't know. Good question. Where's the Mandalorian? That's Mandalorian shot in Los Angeles, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they'll be making use of the volume and all that.
Also, question. Hang on. Cassian's being shot in the UK, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was going to say, I hope this doesn't mean that Star Wars is kind of like finished with the UK.
No.
Unlikely.
But I suppose, given the choice for you, McGregor, it's like, well, it's a desert atmosphere, isn't it? So you may as well be in the sun, even if you've got that new technology that they use for the backgrounds and stuff. Well, I forget what it's called.
Get to Tunisia.
I know, yeah, they should be into that, but it seems to me like they're just going to Mandalorian it, this one.
I mean,
that's the only way
they do
they
a very
can
good job of
it. Sorry, Matt.
I want to say the volume does a decent job, man. You can't tell when you're watching it that it's shot in a horseshoe shaped studio with screens. It just looks so natural.
Yeah, it's incredible.
There is one shot where I noticed.
Really?
Do you know when they go to Tatooine and that there's the lady with the droids, the pit?
Oh yeah.
The background there, just keep your eye on the background every now and again. It looks a bit, but when they're every other shot, I've been like, I can't tell.
Yeah.
I've been shown the thing and I still can't tell. But that one shot in season 2, it did look a bit false.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know.
Like I said, I was going to say that the what's the thing called, the dome? What they're shooting?
Matt just said it before, and I've forgotten it already.
Yeah. I've seen the documentary so many times. Why do I not know? The volume?
The volume.
Yeah.
By shooting in there, they can keep things like Luke Skywalker returning a secret for 12 months.
Exactly.
You go on set, drones everywhere. Everyone knows what Star Wars looks like on a set.
Yeah. It's like we've got aerial shot of the Cassian Andor set, haven't we? Yeah, I think that'll be a good series. It's set in the original trilogy, so
there'll be plenty of new vehicle porn.
I mean, we should get Vader in that. Thinking about it, in that era,
highly likely.
Yeah. Highly likely we'll get some cameos there.
Young Boba Fett. Well, just Boba Fett, not young.
Yeah.
Incidentally,
folks, I don't know if you're anyone out there it might be autograph nerds like us, like me, but I believe Daniel Prowse is doing a private signing with Showmasters. So zip over to the Showmasters page and check that out. You can get your Darth Vader merch signed. Might have to get one of my Spencer pieces doubled up with the Prowse on it.
Yeah.
Daniel's the corridor scene at the end of Rogue One, isn't he?
He certainly is.
And Spencer's the one who walks down the ramp towards Krennic.
Yeah,
That's right.
And that whole scene,
Yeah,
that's a pretty good walk.
it is a good.
He's nailed it.
It's a prosy walk. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
No, he did well.
So, I mean, well, we've covered all our news articles there, and I think we've done it succinctly, and quite well. I don't know if there's any points before we get out of here, folks. Andy and Matt, if there's anything you want to discuss before we get out of here on the Star Wars front, anything we've missed out?
I want my little rant.
Oh, do you want to do the rant before we go? Okay, all right.
Rants.
Now, you gave me. Did you actually put that in the chat? Can I pull this up as a screen thing? Can you pull it up as a screen thing?
Who's that? Me?
Yeah, Matt.
Just give me a tick.
I've still got all the stuff on my screens from the previous thing I was doing, so I'm kind of scared of showing my screen now. That's why I'm not jumping at.
Hang on.
Share.
It was based on that Star Wars theory.
Hang on a minute. Right, I don't know how I'm going to do this because it's like got my phone number. Hang on a second.
Yeah, no, you just so you can download it out of WhatsApp. Hang on.
Yeah,
I've got it. So I'll tell you what, Andy. While we're just trying to jiggery pokery this thing,
You want me to introduce what it is?
You want to just set it up?
Yeah.
Are you getting it, Paddy?
I can get it. Yeah, I think I can possibly. I think I can possibly do that. Yeah.
So there was a poll done on the biggest Star Wars YouTube channel, not the official Star Wars channel, Star Wars Theory. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Star Wars Theory. I think he's really cool. I like his fan film.
Definitely.
But he puts out loads of polls to his fan base. I think anyone who has the access to the poll, I don't think you have to subscribe to him, or maybe you do. But he did something like, what's your favorite trilogy soundtrack? Meaning prequels, originals, or sequels. Not surprisingly at all, it was 2% for the sequels. And I remember it being, was it 40 something for the original trilogy?
Here we go.
23% for the original trilogy, which obviously I clicked on, and 74% for the prequels. Now, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Yeah, so that's 386,000 votes. That's not a small amount of Star Wars fans clicking on that. A lot of people.
Liked by 16K, commented by 4.4K. Yeah.
Now, I should say before I do this rant, this is just how I feel about it, and everybody has their own opinions.
Before you continue, I'm just going to pull that out of the stream, and I'm also. Oh, Jesus! Hang on.
It's doing the Last Jedi thing.
It's doing the way into infinity thing. So just before we do that, I'm going to say. Sequels? What sequels?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I'm obviously talking about the sequels to the prequels, which is A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Of course. That's what they're the only sequels.
Right, so go.
So, yeah, that poll's bullshit. Utter bullshit.
Whoa.
We got a badass over here. No, so if you look at if you want to have a theme off with those three trilogies, just forget the sequels. Original trilogy versus prequels. Go on, Paddy. List a few of your favorites from the original trilogy.
From the original trilogy,
Asteroid Field,
of course.
Yoda's theme, Imperial March.
Yeah.
Leia's theme is one of my favorites as well.
Leia, Han and Leia.
What's the one? I can never remember the title of it, but this where the Millennium Falcon's going like this. It's like the start of the thing.
Hyperspace in Return of the Jedi. Oh, you mean Into the Trap?
Into the Trap, yeah.
Return of the Jedi, yeah.
Yeah.
The Falcon does that twice, doesn't it? It does it in before hyperspace and when they go into It's a trap. So there you go. You got them. You've got the one thing you've not mentioned is the Star Wars main theme. I've already run out of fingers. The main title alone just trumps everything ever written.
Yes.
The Imperial March does as well.
Yeah.
The Battle of Hoth, the Rebel fanfare, Here They Come, dun, 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 all that.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. The Death Star theme, the Jawas theme, all these different themes. Now I know why the prequels are getting a big ding because of two themes: Duel of the Fates and Battle of the Heroes. I'm like, compared to the original trilogy,
possibly across the stars.
Across the Stars is one of my favorite pieces as well. However, when you're talking about trilogies, just A New Hope trumps everything else in terms of score. And also, it comes.
I did agree with you on this
I've brought this up just to do a bit of a praiseworthy on A New Hope again, and we'll get to Empire. But we were talking off air last week, weren't we, or the week before, that when Star Wars came out in 1977, the amount of iconic things that were in that film that came out of nowhere, and they're not my words, that's what people in the industry said. Star Wars came out of nowhere. What iconic things did you have in Star Wars, in the very first Star Wars? Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Han Solo, Chewbacca, TIE Fighters, Death Star, Stormtroopers, Star Destroyers, Leia, the Millennium Falcon, I probably already said that, etc., etc. Jawas, R2D2, C3PO, Grand Moff Tarkin. We hear about the Emperor, all these iconic things, and then you've got the score, like the very first dun, 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 as soon as it starts, it's not been topped. It's incredible. Also, John Williams, when he wrote that score, he said this is just going to be, and this is on YouTube. You can find him saying this. It's just going to play a few weekends for the kids on Saturday, these Saturday matinee serials, and that'll be it. And this was during the press for The Force Awakens, and he said, and here I am 40 years later doing the 7th one.
Yeah.
He said it just never went away. And he said, he did not write A New Hope. This is what blows my mind about this guy. He didn't write A New Hope with any intention of there being a sequel. George never told him there was a sequel. He said it's called Star Wars and that's it.
Yeah.
And in that film, you've got the Cantina Band, the main title, Leia's theme, the Death Star theme, the Jawa theme, the Imperial Attack, which ends up being the early ramifications of the Imperial March. Not quite there yet. Darth Vader has a little motif when he appears. What am I forgetting? The Here They Come, the Battle of Yavin, the Force theme. My God, how much has the Force theme been used?
Yeah,
Disney have used it in every single trailer. And that guy just wrote that as, here's a little fun fact for you as well. The Force theme was written for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, really?
It was. If you got the 1993 set, Arista set, it clearly says Ben's theme.
Wow.
And the main title.
I haven't looked in it for a while.
And the main title is Luke Skywalker's theme.
Yeah.
And then when it came to Phantom Menace, they were like, John said that he spoke to George. He said it was a very short conversation. Should we have something else to open the titles of the Phantom Menace? No, we'll just use the other one.
Yeah.
But
so
imagine
the big yellow writing, Star Wars. Boom! That's Luke Skywalker's theme.
Not that bit, but the literal dun, 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 dun.
Right,
because when he Luke, that bit, you hear
Mm-hmm.
that melody. It is Luke's theme. Confirmed.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, that's another reason why maybe. Well, that's another reason why I thought the original trilogy it's his story.
Yeah.
And even if it's not his story, it's definitely, like Mark Hamill said, it's definitely told from his point of view.
Yeah.
From a certain point of view.
Hero's journey, isn't it?
Yeah. But back to the scores. That's why when I see polls like that, I do get a bit angry. I mean, everyone's entitled to the favourites, of course. If you love Duel of the Fates more than all those others, I think you're crazy, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm wondering if that poll just reflects the age group that's voting on the poll.
Absolutely, yeah.
It must do, because the insane disparity between trilogies there is let's just look at that again. I mean, that's bonkers, man.
That's insane, isn't it? Yeah.
74% sequels, 23% originals, 2% sequels.
At the end of the day, it's
You
all
think
John
there'd be
Williams.
it's all personal opinion and that, of course, but you know, you'd think they'd be a bit closer together.
Yeah.
There'd be less disparity between them.
Well, if you want to go off album sales, original trilogy wins.
Well, there you go. That's only because it's been released 5 million times on there.
It's going to be released another 5 million times by the end of the year.
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get some extra tracks.
Yeah, you get 5 seconds each time they release it.
Right, hang on. Let's Andy do his original trilogy soundtracks. Here we go. What do they need to do? What have they not done? Tell us.
What do you mean?
Well, you know, they've kind of they've half-assed the remaster.
You want me to rant about the Disney ones? Okay, let's go. Right.
Okay, right.
So some amateurs have taken the original tapes, master tapes from the original trilogy, and some of the prequels. We'll leave the prequels because they didn't actually remaster them as much because they weren't in that bad a shape. They just did a little bit of remastering, but the original trilogy got completely remixed. And in some cases, some of the cues are the best they've ever heard. The Imperial March is a good example in Empire Strikes Back. That's probably the best I've ever heard it. However, a few tracks later, the asteroid field, it's swimming in reverb. It sounds like it's in a cathedral, and the violins sound like they're over there.
Right.
Not with the rest of the orchestra. And in Attack of the Clones, there's a crossfade, and it actually goes out of phase, worse than what the Imperial March does in Return of the Jedi.
That bit we're talking about.
It's embarrassing. I'm like, where's the quality control, Disney? What the hell is going on? You've butchered some of the best music ever recorded, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're worth picking up because some of the tracks sound fantastic, but some of them have been butchered to death.
Oh no.
Yeah, plus they also decided to just kind of do the original album versions, didn't they, with all the bad edits. So they've remastered it, but recreated the bad edits of like the album versions, which are effectively the vinyl versions. So they're very short versions of the album with the weird edits, but remastered. It's like, listen, you know, when we got the special editions, we got like double disc for each film, right? Again, they weren't perfect. But we got more music. Usually, every time we do a release, we get more music. Disney have chosen not to expand it in any way, shape, or form for you know, probably the most famous soundtracks known to man.
Yeah.
They've actually gone back. They've regressed.
They have gone back. So, like, if you're gonna, you know, this is the argument that we always have. You know, there are very knowledgeable, very professional, very qualified people who get put in charge of remaster and reassembling projects for record labels like La La Land and Intrada, all of these great labels that remaster and reproduce and repackage great soundtracks.
I believe they've been in touch with Disney, and Disney have said no.
This is it. Disney, do yourselves a favor. Just hire one of those guys, pay them what they need to be paid, and let's get it done properly.
This is some trivia for you as well. The special editions you're talking about from 1997, the double disc sets. There's a soundtrack producer who does all the La La Lands. Well, not all of them, but mainly the John Williams ones we've been getting, like the Harry Potter. Mike Matissino is called. Yeah, bit of a hero. He's the hero in the soundtrack community. But his first job doing soundtracks was the special editions in 1997. So he did that set. And he said during an interview,
he wasn't happy, Williams, was he?
He wasn't happy. No, he said I did the best with what I had, and on reflection, he's not happy with them. Return of the Jedi, the sound quality on that is absolutely disgusting. I won't even listen to it, to be honest. It's awful.
That was the only one that they couldn't get the master tapes follow, wasn't it? And the master tapes missing for Jedi. Is that true?
Well, I thought that was true until Disney released their version, and Into the Trap sounds incredible. So I'm like, how have you done that? You've obviously got the tapes. Somebody at Lucasfilm, I can't say how I know this, said that when Lucas, this is actually public knowledge, when Lucas was about to sell, everything was backed up. Everything was found and backed up.
Right.
So yeah. So hopefully they still got Jedi. I heard that they had to buy Empire off somebody for the second disc of the special edition. I don't know if that's true though. I did read that.
Like the bootleg or the master tapes or something.
But the master tapes, there was a copy of the tapes from Anvil Studios, I believe.
I would not be surprised. There's always a genius sat somewhere on a pile of tapes.
Yeah.
The
thing is, those tapes, they deteriorate. So the quicker they transfer them digitally, the better. So hopefully Lucasfilm haven't just done that vinyl thing that Paddy was talking about, the original, the original presentation. Hopefully we're going to get a proper expanded presentation done by me. What?
Are you listening? Put Andy in charge of that project.
You don't have to give me any money. Seriously, I'd do it for free.
He'll do it for free.
I will not sleep for weeks so that is done properly. That's
give him Indiana Jones as well.
Yes.
Oh, Indy.
Give him
Do you know
Indy
what?
as well.
Indy is in much better shape in terms of quality than Star Wars.
That box set was really nice. It was
Concorde, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
So anyway, Andy's done his soundtrack run. I think that just about wraps it up for this week. Do you know what I mean? I was conscious. I was just like, if we don't do, I thought we might just finish on an hour tonight because it was all quite concise. But then I was like, when we decided to do more, I was like, I think we should finish dead on the 1.5 hour point, so we don't start moving into the 1 hour 40 minutes, the 1 hour 50 minutes, 60 minutes.
Yeah, it doesn't stop, does it?
I think we've
an hour and a half pretty good.
I think we've hit the sweet spot here. So
I do get put off watching live streams when I see the like 4 hours long or whatever.
Yeah,
an hour and a half's good.
If you're going to do catch up,
yeah.
Well, to be honest, as well, I think like we've got a fairly consistent, healthy audience throughout the show. But when you look at the show a day or 2 days afterwards, there's a lot more views on different platforms on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is great because I know that I do have some people who message me like a couple of days afterwards and goes, I've just caught up with the show. So there are people who do catch up with us and don't input live on the show. So, if you're not seeing huge amounts of comments and stuff, we do bring some up on screen. It's not something that I don't think we get disheartened about because we know that people watch the show and then I get messages of people saying, oh, I like this that you discussed and I agree with that and that kind of thing. So, so I guess what we're kind of saying is thank you very much for tuning in.
Yes, thank you.
We always forget to say this. Please, please, please like, share, subscribe to the channel.
Hit that notification button.
Hit the notification button. Yeah, because that's the thing. Now we are able to schedule the show on all of these different platforms. It's so easy to even do it on Facebook. Yeah. When you see us share the post saying we're doing the show on Tuesday, there's a little thing that just says notify me. You're not going to get spammed to death. If you hit it, that just means that when we're about to 30 minutes before you're about to start the show, you get a little warning that says Club Star Wars plans to go live in 30 minutes. So then it's going to be on. You might have not. You might not be sat there watching the TV and the missus going, "Should we just watch Emmerdale?"
That's still going.
No, so Club Star Wars is on in 30 minutes, love. I'm gonna tune into something else. Is that okay? Yeah, whatever.
Also,
I'm going to fill you horror. Anyway, go on.
Even if you don't agree with what we're saying and you dislike the video, just make sure you click the dislike button twice so that we understand how much you hate it.
Exactly. Yeah. And listen, our lines of communication are open all the time. So post anything in our Facebook group, message us individually.
On Twitter.
tweet us, whatever you want to do. If there's something you want us to discuss, something you don't think we've covered,
a character you might want us to talk about in the fourth.
You want us to talk about anything like that, let us know. Also, the platform that we're using here, just like I'm in the stream, just like Matt's in the stream, just like Andy's in the stream, we can add whoever we want to the stream. If you decide that we're discussing something and you want to be part of this discussion on screen with us live as we do the show, that is easy peasy. Just drop us a line, drop us a comment, and we will inbox you a link by which we can introduce you to the show. Simple as that.
Easy peasy.
So, thank you very much for joining us, and we're going to bugger off now. Take care, may the force be with you, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
See you later, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.